So what does all this have to do with you? Well, economists say an additional 25% tariff would cost a family of four an extra $500 or so on just clothing and footwear alone. The Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America broke the numbers down this way. Right now, you might pay $66.74 for a pair of boots made in China. When those very same boots were shipped to the U.S., the shoe company here paid only $16.18 for each pair. But you have to add the current duty rate, or tariff, of $6.07 to that price of the boots. President Trump's 25% will drive the cost up even higher. The price for boots made in China now goes up by $10.11. But we're still not done. Don't forget the standard markup from wholesale to retail. It's usually 3 times the import price. So you're now paying $97.08. That's an increase of about $30 over what you had been paying. Farmers will be one of the hardest hit groups in the U.S. President Trump says he's looking at roughly $15 billion in subsidies for farmers. Ralph Sonnenschein is an assistant professor in the Department of Economics at American University. Thanks for joining us, Professor. My first question, let's get this out of the way. China's not an innocent victim here. They're not the good guys, right?
No, they've certainly committed some, I don't want to call them crimes, but they certainly haven't been playing fair by our standards of fairness.
Okay. The president would have us believe that tariffs aren't such a bad thing. Your take?
So I'm not a fan of tariffs. Let me just say that. What tariffs do is they raise the price of goods, as we talked about earlier, and it's a question of who is ultimately paying for that, and that is not, that's a complicated equation, and it depends on the good, it depends on a lot of things, but it creates distortions and creates inefficiencies.
Okay, let's talk for the viewers out here, the small guy, man and woman. Is this going to cost them?
Sure. Yes, it's going to cost them.
How so?
So a tariff is a tax. So we've lowered taxes in order to get more money in your pocket. Now we've raised taxes, and it's going to cost you more to buy things. It's just a question of when you raise the taxes, who's ultimately going to pay for it? Is it going to be that $97 that you have to pay as opposed to $72 before? So roughly 25%. Or are they going to just take a lower profit, that being the wholesalers or the retailers?
Okay, so you call it a tax. That means the tax is going to go into the Treasury. What are we going to do with that money? The president says he's going to take some of it and help the farmers who are being hurt by the tariffs that he just imposed.
Well, it's up to the government what they do with the tax revenue, for sure. But ultimately, if they do that, what you're doing is just taking the money that you're paying for it. When they give the farmers the money, you're paying the farmers.
Let's talk about the farmers, okay? Most people here that are watching don't know farmers, okay? Well, a lot of us do. I'm from Kentucky, a lot of farmers there. We keep hearing about soybeans. How are the farmers being hurt by these tariffs? Help us understand that.
Well, the biggest issue, I think, is when China retaliates and they put tariffs themselves on, they'd redirect trade elsewhere. And so our exports of soybeans or what have you to China, I think it was soybeans is the biggest one, has been curtailed to next to nothing. So so they've lost a major export market. The price that they're getting is going down, so they've been hurt badly.
And I keep hearing this is planting season right now for them.
Right. So it's very unpredictable in terms of what they can invest and what they can expect to get in return.
Okay, and how long can we keep this up? I mean, how long can this trade war go on? I mean, the president would indicate that he's kind of comfortable with tariffs.
Well, we had tariffs all throughout the 1930s. I'm sure we could keep tariffs, as long as they want to keep them. If it's politically popular, it's not an economic question, it's a political question.
Right, okay, I got that. Okay, won't hit you with a political question. What's the upside to tariffs?
So there are winners in the tariff war. When you put tariffs on steel industry, on imported steel,
China's steel coming in here, you got a tariff on it, it means it's going to cost more.
Right, so steel manufacturing is going to be the winners, the steel manufacturers. Winners in terms of increased profits, maybe increased employment, increased output, and we've seen that. The problem is the downstream industries. Those people buying steel are buying it at a higher price. So the problem is, and the reason why economists like myself are so against it, is you're picking winners and losers. You're distorting the economy and making it more inefficient, and you're picking winners and losers, with the reason being really that they want to do is punish China and try to create some bargaining chip. That's what they're trying to do.
Professor Ralph Sonnenschein, assistant professor in the Department of Economics, American University. Thanks a lot for joining us.
My pleasure.